the U.S. is tracking a big drop in tourism from around the world. Take a look at this. Travel from Canada and Mexico was down double digits in March. We're also seeing fewer visitors from Western Europe, Central and South Asia, South America, I should say.
Here in New York, tourism is also being hit big time, once again driven by negative sentiment toward the USA.
Stunning images of near-empty passenger planes are popping up on social media. These international flights have many tourists flying to the USA practically alone. Shauna Massengill flew from London to Chicago.
It was really shocking. I've never been on a flight like that.
For decades, the United States was more than a country. It was an idea, a destination, a dream. It didn't matter where you were born, Beirut or Berlin, Riyadh or Rio. If you closed your eyes and imagined opportunity, it often looked like the skyline of Manhattan, like Hollywood, like the Golden Gate Bridge stretching into possibility. But something is changing, quietly, steadily, and now, visibly. In 2025, that dream is cracking, and what was once the most visited nation on Earth is now seeing an unprecedented drop in foreign tourism. This isn't opinion. It's not speculation. It's data. Take one look at the latest travel snapshot from the US Travel Association. Flights from Canada, down nearly 20%. Land border crossings, crashed by more than a third. And it's not just the neighbors. Europe, Asia, South America, all reporting double-digit declines in American-bound tourists. Here in New York City, one of the most iconic travel destinations in the world, the impact is impossible to ignore. Times Square isn't packed shoulder to shoulder anymore. Fifth Avenue doesn't hum the way it used to. And airports? They're emptier than anyone expected. Passenger planes from abroad, near empty. Social media is flooded with eerie photos of cabins with barely a row occupied. One traveler flying from London to Chicago described her experience like this. There was no one. My entire row was empty. I've never seen anything like it. She's not alone. And neither is the experience. Because while flights still depart and arrive, something else has stayed behind. Confidence. The reasons aren't always obvious. It's not just inflation or ticket prices or post-pandemic fatigue. It's something deeper. Something that cuts at the core of what made America appealing in the first place. Trust. Across Europe and Asia, there is growing anxiety among travelers about how they'll be treated upon arrival in the US. It starts at the border. Long wait times. Aggressive questioning. In some cases, outright detainment. Even for those with valid visas. In Germany, the government took the unusual step of updating its travel advisory, warning that a valid US visa no longer guarantees entry. This after multiple cases of German students and professionals being detained without explanation at American airports. The German Foreign Ministry made it clear, entry is not guaranteed, even with proper documents. In Japan, NHK, the national broadcaster, aired several reports about engineers and tourists held for hours by border officers. In one case, a business consultant was asked to unlock his phone and hand it over. When he refused, he was told he could either comply or be denied entry. In Australia, the warnings have become even more explicit. Smart Traveller, the government's official travel advisory service, issued multiple alerts about inconsistent security checks, unexplained delays, and invasive screening procedures at US airports. Flight Centre, the country's largest travel agency, reported a 16% drop in US-bound bookings, while interest in destinations like Japan and New Zealand surged, and the stories, they're everywhere. Stories like this. A young woman flying with her mother to visit family in Texas is stopped at the airport. She's separated from her mother, questioned for hours, and eventually detained overnight at a federal facility. With no charges, no explanation, and no apology. These are not isolated incidents. They are being documented, shared, amplified. In forums, in media, in dinner table conversations from Sydney to Stockholm. Because this isn't just about security anymore. It's about identity. It's about how people feel when they enter a country that once called itself the land of the free. And the effects are rippling fast. In Canada, America's closest neighbor, news outlets are reporting a sharp shift in attitude. Articles are encouraging travelers to skip the States and consider Portugal or Mexico instead. Canadians who once vacationed in Florida are now buying second homes in Spain. One travel blog headlined the trend bluntly. Why go where you're not wanted? Airlines are adjusting too. When a traveler chooses your country, they're not just spending money, they're spending trust. And right now, that trust is bleeding away. This isn't irreversible, but it is urgent. Restoring the image of the United States will take more than glossy marketing campaigns or new slogans. It will take real changes, clearer and fairer immigration policies, cultural sensitivity training for border agents, cooperation with consulates and foreign embassies to protect the dignity of travelers. Because when a student from Tokyo or an entrepreneur from Berlin is detained without cause, it's not just one person affected. It's their friends, their colleagues, their entire network. Reputations are built slowly, but they fall fast. And in 2025, the reputation of the United States as a dream destination is at risk. Not because people hate America, but because they're confused by it. Because they don't know if the welcome is still there. Because the line between caution and hostility has blurred. America still has what the world wants. Its culture, its universities, its innovation, its natural beauty. But admiration is no longer enough. What the world wants now is respect, dignity, and a reason to believe they'll be treated not like threats, but like guests, and that belief is fading. So the question becomes, can America fix it? Yes, but not by building walls or tightening policies further. It will be fixed by looking in the mirror and listening to the travelers, to the stories, to the people who once looked at America with wide eyes and now glance at it with hesitation. Because when tourists stop coming, it's not just a loss of income, it's a loss of connection. And rebuilding that connection starts now. This is Al-Mukhbir, and this is the story of how one of the world's most visited countries may soon become the one most avoided, unless something changes.